When a 19-year-old's car was found abandoned on a bridge at the Jersey Shore, speculation ran wild.
Keys were in the ignition. No sign of foul play, nothing.
Sarah was nowhere to be found.
But was Sarah Stern trying not to be found?
Sarah talked about possibly starting a new life in Toronto and moving away.
Her mother had left her a lot of cash.
It all added up to one giant mystery.
You don't know what to think, to be honest.
Today, we're at the Jersey Shore in the community of Neptune City for BFFs, the disappearance of Sarah Stern. I'm Sloane Glass, and this is American Homicide. As a note, this podcast also contains subject matter which may not be suitable for all audiences. Discretion is advised. The Jersey Shore. What did it give us? Snooki, Pauly D, and JWoww. But what you see on TV and what really happens in real life are two completely different things.
The Jersey Shore is not quite what you would expect to see.
Journalist Tom Davis grew up on the Jersey Shore and now covers the area for Patch.com.
It's actually a very conservative, traditional community that's mixed in with a tourist atmosphere.
Like clockwork, every summer, tourists and beachgoers take over the area.
During the summertime, I would say the population probably quadruples at least, especially on the weekends. It almost develops a little bit more of a Miami feel to it.
The party atmosphere every summer takes over the many bars, restaurants, and of course, the beaches.
The beaches are the best place to be.
The shore features 44 beaches in total. And if you're like Tom and live there year-round, you look forward to the off-season.
For a lot of people, they really kind of hate the crowd, so they actually like the fall and the winter because it's obviously a lot emptier. It's a lot less crowded. I always called it the void between Labor Day and Memorial Day because literally nothing happens here.
But in the early morning hours of December 3rd, 2016, something did happen. A rideshare driver noticed an abandoned Oldsmobile sedan atop a bridge, heading out of town, and called 911.
911, where is the emergency?
Actually, on the Belmar Bridge, there's a car that's abandoned. It's off to the side of the road.
Was there anybody inside the vehicle?
I looked, no.
All right.
That tall bridge spans the Shark River, which, despite its name, isn't known for having sharks.
The water underneath is a Shark River, which is a very shallow river. They might do some fishing there. There's really no swimming or anything like that.
When police got to the car, they found no one inside. So they contacted its owner, Michael Stern.
About 3 o'clock in the morning, it was kind of a squeaky voice saying they were from the Monmouth County Sheriff's Department and they were looking for the owner of an Oldsmobile.
Michael lived in Neptune City, New Jersey year-round with his daughter, Sarah. But at the time, he was out of town. He was vacationing in Orlando.
And I said, yeah, Sarah drives that car.
Sarah was his 19-year-old daughter. She was in college studying media production.
Well, Sarah was into the arts. She was taking television production, art classes, pottery, photography.
While her dad was in Orlando, Sarah was back home.
Sarah was basically by herself, and she didn't like to be by herself.
Yes, but sometimes, like everyone, Sarah just needed her space.
When she was 15, her mom passed away, cancer, and it was a tough time for her.
It was very tough. Sarah's mom had a long bout with breast cancer.
And Sarah, she was a champ. She loved her mom, and she did everything she could to keep her comfortable when she was going through chemo.
And sadly, her mom ultimately lost that fight when Sarah was a freshman in high school.
She struggled at times, losing her mom.
Sarah took that pain and channeled it into her artwork.
So she had to kind of find herself. And that's when she threw herself into art, drawing, photography, and media. And her talent just blossomed. Within a couple years, she was doing things that I thought were incredible.
According to Michael, as a widower and father of a teenage daughter, he thought the only thing to do was to pull Sarah close and cope together.
Our family, basically, it was Sarah and myself and always a dog. She loved her dog, Buddy, and she dressed Buddy up in different outfits and put jackets on him and sweatshirts, and she'd get Buddy dressed up for Halloween. That was her best friend.
With Sarah and Buddy back home, Michael spent the early morning hours of December 3rd, 2016, trying to figure out why Sarah's car was left on a bridge some 2 miles from their home.
I tried the house phone and her cell phone, and I wasn't getting anything through.
Then, he did what every father of a 19-year-old would do. He sent her a text message.
The messages were coming up green as opposed to blue on an iPhone, so I thought maybe her phone was off or, the battery life had gone down.
By then, the police had gone to Sarah's home and already did a search.
No one was there except for the dog.
The police found Buddy locked in his cage, which was something Sarah's dad said she would only do when strangers were at the house.
It was kind of odd that he would have been in there, but Sarah was nowhere to be found. At that point, we just didn't know what was going on. So we just packed up and threw everything in the car and started driving north.
The 16-hour ride from Orlando to Neptune City gave Michael plenty of time to think about what could have happened.
There was a million scenarios going through my head. Did the car stall? Was something wrong with it? Did Sarah have somebody with her that might have abducted her?
There was also the terrifying thought that Sarah, who was struggling with the loss of her mother, possibly took her own life.
We had no answers at all.
Early that morning, the police sent a team of divers into the frigid waters of the Shark River to look for any signs of Sarah.
The tides go in and out very, very quick. It's cold, it's rocky in some areas, and it's marshy in other areas.
By the time the sun came up that Saturday morning, there was still no sign of Sarah and no evidence of what could have happened.
There were a couple of theories that law enforcement believed early on.
Alex Napoliello covered the story for NJ.com and the Star-Ledger newspaper.
It's possible her car had broken down and she flagged the wrong person for help, and someone did something terrible to her, possibly threw her body off the bridge. And I remember early reports talking to sources off the record that there was belief that she had jumped off the bridge. So then law enforcement wants to start putting the pieces together. What was her mental state leading up to this? Was she sad? Was she depressed?
Well, according to witnesses who last saw Sarah, she was not in a good place mentally.
Police talked to her neighbor across the street, Robin Draper. And what Robin had told them was that Sarah had seemed a little off that day and not necessarily herself. Sarah was over at their home earlier in the day, and she had dropped off some bins of her belongings.
But Sarah didn't just drop off some of her stuff. She also dropped some hints about where she might be going.
Sarah talked about possibly starting a new life in Toronto and moving away. If she's getting rid of these belongings while her father is vacationing, maybe she wanted to leave town without necessarily notifying her family that she was leaving.
One of the last people to see Sarah Stern before her disappearance was one of her best friends, Liam McAtasney.
Liam McAtasney was one of Sarah's closest friends growing up. They lived about a block away from each other. They were childhood friends, and they did what normal kids do: play video games, talk on the phone, text with each other.
The two had one of those rare lifelong friendships. They met at Sunday school when they were just 6 years old.
They were close, and they remained close up until the day she disappeared.
Liam was with Sarah that afternoon as she moved those bins filled with her personal belongings into a neighbor's house. When detectives questioned him, he painted a bleak picture of Sarah's state of mind.
In the past, she has had a tendency to have self-destructive, suicidal behavior.
He was telling law enforcement she wanted to move away, she wasn't happy, she was depressed.
Over the past few months, she's been telling me how bad her relationship with her father is and how she just needs to get out of here.
She had a rocky relationship with her father. There were some periods where, they fought and had disagreements.
So let's say that one of Sarah's best friends was right, and she did leave to get away from her dad. Well, how could she afford it?
On the day before Sarah's car was found abandoned on the bridge, Police learned that she had gone to a bank during the day to withdraw money from a safety deposit box that she had.
Liam said he went with her to the bank, but stayed in the car while Sarah went inside.
She took out $7,000. What would a 19-year-old be doing with this money?
What 19-year-old has thousands of dollars socked away in a safe deposit box?
You don't know what to think, to be honest.
Sarah's father also didn't know what to think of that cash.
I didn't know about it.
Well, here's what he learned. Sarah found those thousands of dollars in a shoebox inside their home. And this money was filthy and old, from well before the U.S. Treasury redesigned the $20 and $50 bills.
Her mother had squirreled away money, I guess, for years, but she mentioned it to somebody, and it got back to Sarah, and she found it.
So Sarah Stern had some problems with her dad, and she had a pile of cash. So it makes perfect sense that she left town. But her dad wasn't buying it.
You know, she just wasn't leaving her car on a bridge and leaving her suitcase and her passport. Her passport was up in her drawer where she kept it.
Yeah, without a passport, Sarah would have no way to get into Canada.
We didn't know. Then it just left a big open wound.
There's really not a lot of room over there on the shoulder. So it's very, very odd for people to be stopping on the bridge.
Edward Kirschenbaum was the director of public safety for the Neptune City Police Department.
Keys were in the ignition with no sign of a driver or a passenger, no sign of foul play, nothing.
And here's a bit of bad luck. Surveillance cameras near the bridge were not working that night. But a home security camera across from the Stearns' house was working. Unfortunately for detectives, they couldn't make out anything other than the time Sarah's car came and left the house.
You don't know what's going on, so you have to pull in every resource that you can to try to get to the end line of what happened.
Hundreds of Sarah's friends and neighbors joined Sarah's best friend, Liam McAtasney, in the search for any sign of Sarah.
The beaches and the lakes and the inlets were all searched by volunteers. So there was an all-out effort by the community to see if they could locate anything that would give any indication of what happened to Sarah Stern.
But detectives were concerned about Sarah's bizarre behavior the afternoon before she disappeared.
There was conversations with a friend of Sarah's, Liam McAtasney, where she may have had some type of suicidal tendencies, that she was upset with issues, maybe because of her mom's death.
In fact, Liam was with her when she moved some of her stuff into a neighbor's house the afternoon before she went missing.
Sarah had dropped off bins of her personal belongings to be kept in the friend's basement. Sarah also gave a bin of footballs and basketballs or some type of equipment to kids in the neighborhood. So that was kind of odd.
Liam told detectives that afternoon the two went to the bank, got tacos for lunch, and returned to Sarah's house. They ate and then played video games until around 4:45 p.m. That's when Liam left for his job at a local steakhouse.
Liam was the last person that Sarah had talked to.
And most concerning was what Liam told detectives about Sarah's state of mind.
Sarah was unhappy with her home life, that her father was overbearing, that the relationship between Michael Stern and Sarah Stern was not a good relationship.
So naturally, detectives questioned her father, Michael, about his relationship with Sarah. And they were surprised by his response.
Michael Stern was an open book. He was forthcoming with everything that we discussed. Any type of telephone communication, whether it be text messages or voicemails.
And these messages didn't show any sort of conflict between them. Just before Sarah disappeared, she texted her dad. "Hey Dad, good afternoon. What day are you coming back from Florida?" Her text also contained emojis, a smiley face with sunglasses, a palm tree, and a little red car. Michael's response included a picture of a rainbow that had just appeared right around that time. He later sent a picture of Disney's Magic Kingdom, where he was vacationing. Sarah wrote back, "Wow, the castle looks so pretty with the lights." She added a shooting star emoji. It was the last message he received from Sarah. So again, what's going on here?
It's a parent's worst nightmare. I couldn't imagine it myself, and my heart was breaking for him.
At this point, all detectives knew for sure was that Sarah took out a large sum of money from the bank and then vanished.
There was no utilization of any bank cards or anything that would give some kind of information that she had left the area, because without funding, how far can you go? You have no car. So it was a unique case. There was nothing adding up.
Even the surveillance footage from the bank showed Sarah smiling and waving to the manager as she left. It didn't exactly point to someone who was considering taking her own life or fleeing the country.
There were no hardcore facts out there, so you had to use the totality of circumstances to just old-fashioned police work, hoping that somebody says something and just talking to everybody to try to put the pieces together.
Journalist Alex Napoliello covered the story.
Very early on, the reports coming to us from police was that Sarah was missing and that there wasn't anything suspicious about her disappearance. And then, sort of seemingly out of the blue, the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office puts out information that they are willing to pay anyone who would have information in her disappearance.
That reward, which totaled $5,000, caught everyone off guard.
Now, that struck us as a bit odd because usually those rewards are put out when there's a crime that has occurred.
Reporters saw it as a sign that police no longer believed Sarah took off to Canada or took her own life.
And it was the first indication to us that maybe something nefarious had happened here.
And then, 7 weeks after Sarah's disappearance, detectives got a mysterious lead from someone who went to high school with Sarah.
Police department got information of a gentleman by the name of Anthony Curry.
Okay, let's talk about Anthony Curry. Like Sarah, he was 19 years old and liked the arts. At the time, he considered himself to be an aspiring horror movie maker and sort of looked the part. He was tall with long dark hair, wore dark clothing, and smoked cigarettes. But he wasn't exactly a loner. In high school, he was named most likely to become famous.
Mr. Curry met with detectives of the case and told them an incredible story.
Incredible is an understatement. Anthony Curry told detectives about a bizarre conversation he had with a longtime friend about movies. This friend floated a movie idea past Anthony that involved robbing and killing someone.
A scenario of parking a vehicle on the bridge, making appear that somebody committed suicide by jumping off the bridge into the water.
This so-called movie plot sounded all too familiar to detectives.
It was a detail-by-detail description of what had happened to Sarah Stern.
Making things even more bizarre, this conversation with Anthony Curry happened on Thanksgiving 2016, just days before Sarah Stern went missing.
Anthony came up with information that only somebody involved in the crime would know.
And this person who shared this movie idea with Anthony, well, he was also no stranger to Sarah.
It was a friend of Sarah's, Liam McIntyre.
I know a lot has happened, so let's take a moment to reset. A week before Sarah disappeared, Anthony Curry alleges that Sarah's good friend, her best friend, Liam, shared his idea for a movie about a young woman who was robbed, murdered, and then thrown off a bridge while her car was left on a bridge to appear like she took her own life. Things are getting really weird here.
So it's just, the whole concept is beyond comprehension.
And Anthony said he never thought about this conversation after it happened. That is, until he read about Sarah's mysterious disappearance.
Mr. Curry came forward to law enforcement because Mr. McIntyre continued to reach out for Mr. Curry.
Liam McIntyre told Anthony it was urgent they meet up, which is what caused Anthony to go to the cops. But again, Liam was one of Sarah's oldest and best and most devoted friends. Could he actually be involved in Sarah's disappearance? Was this just some sort of weird coincidence? Or had Sarah and Liam cooked up some sort of plan?
This is just so off the charts that nobody knows what happened.
So the police came up with a plan to learn the truth. And it involved some serious work on the part of Anthony Curry.
So they wired Mr. Curry up.
Edward Kirschenbaum worked for the Neptune City Police Department.
And a plan was put in place by the investigative team for a meet between Liam McIntyre and Anthony Curry, with law enforcement wiring Mr. Curry and monitoring with audio and video the conversation that would take place.
On January 31st, 2017, 7 weeks after Sarah Stern's disappearance, Anthony Curry met Liam McIntyre in his car. The police listened from a safe distance in hopes of learning whether Liam's idea for a movie was actually his plan to murder Sarah.
What's happening, bro? How you doing? How you doing? What you been up to? Hiding from the cops? What happened?
Dude, you can't blame me for doing this, right? I gotta feel you up real quick, all right?
Right off the bat, Liam McIntyre amped up the drama. He was nervous and asked to pat down Anthony Curry in case he was wearing a wire.
No disrespect. I'll show you. No disrespect, okay?
Nothing.
Liam's pat down of Anthony didn't reveal anything because the police didn't wire him up. They wired up his car. So Liam had no idea their conversation was being recorded.
I got the FBI on my ass, dude.
What are they questioning?
Oh yeah, a lot.
About what?
About killing Sarah.
The FBI was not involved in the investigation. So what was Liam talking about? Was this another page from his script? Was this all a game to him? And then police heard this.
I did something really dumb, and I planned it out for half a year. And the worst part is, we threw her off the bridge, and the body never showed up.
Well, that was pretty shocking. And who is we? Then, Liam shared what happened the afternoon before Sarah disappeared.
I'm hanging out with her. We went to the bank. She took some money out, not all of her money.
Liam said after Sarah took $7,000 out of her safe deposit box, the two went back to Sarah's. And that's when Liam put his plan into action.
We're counting out, and then she goes to walk out the front door. I choke her out, like, I picked her up and had her just, like, dangling off the ground, and she just herself, said my name, and then that was it. And her dog laid there and watched as I killed her. Didn't do anything.
That's really hard to hear and makes my stomach drop. Such a sad ending to Sarah's life. And the police could not believe what they were hearing. Sarah Stern's friend and neighbor, Liam McIntyre, very nonchalantly described how he killed Sarah with his own two hands.
She was just laying there having a seizure or something. I got a shirt and I just shoved it down her throat so she wouldn't throw up or anything, and held my finger over her nose. And it took me like a half an hour.
It's really hard to listen to this because he is so cold. But Liam went on. He said he ran out of time. He had to be at work at 5 p.m., so he dragged Sarah's body to the bathroom and left her there. And that's where Liam's accomplice comes into the story, his roommate, Preston Taylor. According to Liam, Preston was in on the plan. They had actually been planning to rob and kill Sarah for 6 months.
You are the only person on this planet that knows, besides Preston. And Preston doesn't know that you know.
So if what he is saying is true, then while Liam was at work, Preston entered Sarah's house through her back door and then moved her body to a bushy area in the backyard.
I get off work that night. Preston and I go over to her house. Then we take her body out of the bushes and drag it over to her back fence. And I crawl, get into her car, and I back up. There's a security camera across the street.
Right.
So I had to act like her. I watched her every time she backed out. She does the same thing. So I backed out exactly like she did and drove off.
Liam still hasn't said anything that establishes a clear motive. His story is so brutal and so nonchalant at the same time. It's hard to believe it's true. And then there's another thing. Somehow Liam dodged the security cameras, which wasn't easy considering where he put the body.
Put her in the passenger seat of her own car.
With a seatbelt around Sarah's dead body, in the passenger seat of her own car, Liam said he drove to the bridge over the Shark River.
I go up, open the door, unhook her, pull her out, start dragging her to throw her over, and then cars start coming up. I see like headlights coming. I try to get her over and I can't. My leg up, so now I'm limping, my leg's up, and there's 3 cars coming up.
Liam said he freaked out and dragged Sarah's body back to the car, pushing her into the passenger seat and signaling to his roommate Preston for help. From the way he described it, Liam did all of this with no regard for Sarah. It was like she was no longer a person, but just an object. No longer his best friend. Just a thing.
The 2 of us throw the body over, and then we're out. This is the thing about heists. There's so much you can't account for. You don't know until it happens.
Liam then explained how he and Preston stole a safe from Sarah, along with that money Sarah took out from her safe deposit box.
That's not even the worst part. The worst part of it is I thought I was walking out 50 grand, 100 grand in my pocket. She only had 10 grand. And this money, I don't know if it was Britt or something. It's old money, terrible quality.
That's the worst part? He's upset about the money? Well, if you remember, those $20 and $50 bills looked old and beaten up, which upset Liam.
I don't even know if I can put any of it in the bank.
Throughout this sickening discussion with Liam, Anthony Curry kept repeating, "It's like a movie. It's like a movie, man." And Liam agreed.
It's your life, you might as well make it one. What, are you gonna live some boring-ass life?
That's when Liam said he needed to go and exited the car. But then, seconds later, Liam turned around and ran back to Anthony's car. Liam knocked on Anthony's window and looked worried.
What's up? I don't know where my keys are. Thought I had everything. Oh, they're there. You found them? All right, bro. All right, bro.
Liam found his keys in Anthony's car, grabbed them, and left. Anthony exhaled, lit up another cigarette, and drove back home, wondering how on earth this horror movie plot Liam shared with him on Thanksgiving may have turned into a real-life murder. As for the detectives, they also tried to process what they heard.
It was a detailed accounting of what he, along with Preston Taylor, did to Sarah Stern.
Ed Kirschenbaum of the Neptune City Police Department was shocked not just at what Liam said, but how he said it.
It was a chilling account with no remorse, no emotion. Liam McIntyre was the mastermind of this entire crime.
Police were tipped off by Liam's friend, Anthony Curry. Anthony was an aspiring movie producer who dreamed of making horror films. A few weeks earlier, Liam shared his idea for a movie with Anthony, and it had chilling details that mirrored what police thought might have happened to Sarah Stern.
He was one of the only few people that knew what happened to Sarah and wanted to talk to law enforcement to let them know exactly what he knew.
In their secretly recorded conversation, Liam admitted to purposefully feeding false leads to detectives.
That was whole part of my plan to make me look not guilty.
He tried to portray himself as a concerned friend and continued to try to paint a picture of deception, that it was more or less a suicide or a poor relationship with her father that led her to possibly jump off the bridge that night, all along hiding the fact that he was one that was responsible for her murder.
And in these recordings, Liam said he didn't act alone. He recruited his roommate, Preston Taylor, to help dispose of Sarah's body.
Preston Taylor was involved early on in the planning of what was going to happen to Sarah Stern.
And get this, Preston didn't just know Sarah. He was actually her date to the junior prom.
Preston Taylor was the one person that could have saved Sarah Stern's life, but he chose not to. He chose to follow Liam McIntyre.
So if this is actually true, and this is a real confession, then it's just really hard to wrap my head around what these so-called friends of Sarah's were thinking.
That's what's so baffling. There's no indication of any type of problem other than pure greed and evil.
Sarah had inherited money from her mother. For months, Liam had his eyes on this money. The afternoon she withdrew funds from her bank, Liam went into action.
Liam McIntyre called Preston Taylor when they were at the bank. Liam McIntyre told Preston Taylor that this was the day it was going to happen.
On February 1st, 2017, detectives pulled Preston in for questioning.
We know what happened to Sarah. We know what your involvement in it was. Right? We want to know why it happened. We want to know why Liam did what he did.
I got home just as he was...
I know it's really hard to hear Preston in this interrogation audio, but let me tell you, Preston folded like a chair, like within a minute.
He participated, not the actual murder, but the steps taken to cover up the murder.
Preston said Liam believed Sarah had upwards of $100,000 and killed her for that money, a portion of which Preston was supposed to get for helping to move Sarah's body.
Preston Taylor goes over, takes Sarah's body and puts it over by a hedgerow, covers it with leaves. Once Liam McIntyre gets off of work, they pull down the street behind Sarah's yard. They take Sarah, they throw her over the fence. They put her in the passenger seat of her car.
See, I keep going back to this idea that this is their friend, and they're treating her body like it's a thing. They buckled Sarah into the passenger seat of her car, and then Liam drove, sitting next to the dead body, while Preston followed in another car.
Liam McIntyre would study Sarah, the way she would back out of her driveway in her car. So his plan was to pull out the same way after he murders her.
A neighbor's surveillance camera caught the car pulling out, but it was too dark for detectives to see anyone in the grainy footage. So they didn't know who was driving. However, the timestamp matched up with Preston's story.
She was thrown into the Shark River on an outgoing tide. And they then left and continued on with their lives.
Preston cooperated with detectives and led them on a play-by-play reenactment of the crime, including where he and Liam buried two safes filled with nearly $10,000 in cash.
It was just a pure act of betrayal. Nobody saw it coming. Liam McIntyre wasn't on the police department's radar at all.
Yet here they were, Sarah's one-time prom date, along with her best friend, who she met in Sunday school, both arrested for her murder.
Preston Taylor was charged with desecration of human remains and hindering apprehension. And Liam was charged with murder, felony murder, robbery, hindering apprehension, desecration of human remains.
The emotional roller coaster was about to take another dive as detectives had to share the news with Sarah's father, Michael.
How do you tell a father who has hope his daughter's going to come home that she's not coming home, that she has been murdered? And in fact, murdered by her friends.
Whenever you have a missing persons case, there is always hope that the person you're searching for will come home. That hope extends from the family to the reporters covering the story and law enforcement trying to find them. When that hope extinguishes, there is nothing harder.
I sat down at the kitchen table and he told me, and I don't know, I was just in kind of shock after that. I just remember staring at the table and in disbelief that, you know, they knew what happened. They had the confession. Worst day of my life. It hurts. She was such a good person. Just finding out that one of her friends killed her was just a horrible thing.
After the arrest of Liam McAtasney and Preston Taylor for the murder of their longtime friend, Sarah Stern, law enforcement held a press conference.
Our efforts to recover Sarah's remains do continue.
That's right. Even with the two behind bars, the police continued to search for Sarah's body.
We're not going to give up that search, and that's one of the most important things we hope we can do is bring some closure by recovering Sarah for Mr. Stern and those that loved her.
Still, Sarah's body never turned up, which wasn't good for prosecutors' arguments.
The lack of a body is always a hurdle with any type of homicide investigation.
Edward Kirschenbaum worked for the Neptune City Police Department, and he knew without a body, it would be tough to secure convictions.
So the prosecutor's office felt it necessary to offer a deal to Preston Taylor for his cooperation at trial.
Part of Preston's plea deal, he pled guilty to a series of charges, and in exchange, agreed to testify against Liam.
He was crucial because he was there.
When Liam went on trial in 2019, it was the county's first attempt to convict someone of murder without a victim's body since 1975. And to prove their case, prosecutors relied heavily on that testimony Preston was going to give against Liam.
He said that he killed Sarah and ultimately told me he needed me to go over to Sarah's house to move Sarah's body.
That's Preston Taylor. He testified that Liam McAtasney believed Sarah had upwards of $100,000, an amount, he said, somebody would kill for.
It started off as plans to either burglarize her house or to rob her personally. And over time, the conversations progressed to killing her.
Now, Liam's defense attorney was listening to this, but they were about to take a different route and suggested that Sarah Stern was still alive.
She wanted to go to either California or Canada, anywhere but here.
Liam's defense was nobody found a body. Sarah was not murdered.
In addition, Liam's lawyer tried to suppress the recorded conversation between Liam and Anthony Curry, where he confessed to the murder. But he was unsuccessful. Then he pivoted and explained to the jury that the tape was nothing more than a movie audition.
It was fantasy, that it was an audition. Liam McAtasney made it up for Anthony Curry, the horror film director. Why? Well, I think Anthony Curry gave you the answer as to why. Man, this is like a movie.
If you remember, Anthony Curry kept repeating, "Man, this is like a movie," throughout that talk with Liam. And Liam's attorney said Liam had simply made up the story about strangling a friend to impress Anthony, and that Anthony had pointed the finger at Liam in an attempt to further his career.
The horror film guy, who says, by the way, in the recording, you should move out to LA with me, and you should be my Leonardo DiCaprio to my Martin Scorsese.
So imagine you're a juror hearing this tape of Liam for the first time. Would you think he was acting?
I pretty much hung her, like, I picked her up and had her just, like, dangling off the ground, and she just pissed herself and said my name, and then that was it. I thought I was going to be able to choke her out and have her out in, like, a couple minutes.
Journalist Tom Davis was in the courtroom throughout the trial and struggled to make sense of what he heard.
For somebody to almost walk into a car and right after hello, just basically start talking about what he did and how he murdered her, I mean, you just almost like wondered if he's still acting here? What is he doing here?
He and the others who listened were surprised by how nonchalant Liam sounded.
They were so monotone about it. I expected actually somebody to be much more anxious. I expected to be somebody to even show some remorse because I believe that's how humans react.
So, if indeed Liam was auditioning for a role in a movie, then what happened to Sarah Stern? Well, the defense claimed she left town. They even called a witness who claimed he saw her the morning after she went missing.
There was a girl walking down the street. And I said to my son, I said, that is an awfully good-looking girl to be walking on the street at 5 o'clock in the morning.
This witness testified that he saw someone who looked just like Sarah Stern 2.5 hours after police discovered her abandoned car on the bridge, or about 5 hours after Preston Taylor said he helped Liam McIntasney throw Sarah's body into the river.
I got a good look right in her face, stared right into her eyes the way I'm looking at you right now, and she turned her head and ducked down an alleyway. And it looked like she was well dressed. That's why I said it was just so unusual to see somebody well dressed that early in the morning. And just before the top of the bridge, there was a car broken down on the side of the road.
It was the same bridge where Sarah Stern's car was found. But there was a problem. According to the police, Sarah's car had already been towed away by then.
His testimony didn't seem to jive with the timeline and everything. It just felt like that there was just no way Liam was going to get out of this.
And then Liam and his defense caught a huge break.
One of the jurors had actually posted something on Facebook that was a bit of a wise-ass thing to say about the trial.
The judge learned that juror number 13 posted a comment to Facebook in response to an article about the trial. She wrote, quote, "Sitting on the jury laughing my ass off." Well, the judge was furious and stopped the trial.
And actually there was some fear at the time that, that maybe this actual whole thing could be retried or something, maybe could even declare a mistrial.
And that's exactly what Liam's attorney asked the judge to do, call a mistrial. Something Sarah's father, Michael Stern, could not fathom.
Father was very upset about it, and he was talking about how he just didn't want to have to go through this again.
Juror number 13 explained to the judge that she couldn't have posted the comment to Facebook because it happened while the court was still in session. She blamed her 15-year-old sister, who she said logged into her account and posted the comment. The judge then stopped the trial while he decided how to proceed.
So everything was really kind of in a limbo,
After considering a mistrial, the judge opted to simply dismiss the juror and then allowed the trial to go on.
It was a fairly long trial. Sometimes it felt daunting and exhausting, hearing these horrible details of what had happened to Sarah.
Journalist Alex Napoliello was in the courtroom.
On one side of the room, you had Liam's family, and on the other side of the room, you had Sarah's family. And this is a family that knew each other, and all of a sudden, they're on opposite ends of each other, and there's a lot of animosity towards each other. So there was a lot of tension in the courtroom.
That tension only intensified after prosecutors played that tape confession of Liam McIntasney.
To see Liam McIntasney talk about what he did to his friend in such detail and to talk about it so casually, I had never seen anything like that as a reporter covering crime for many years.
But the defense called the tape nothing more than an audition by Liam McIntasney.
You could hear a pin drop in that courtroom while that tape was playing.
In fact, that was the only time the jury heard from Liam, because he did not take the witness stand. Instead, his lawyer told the jurors that without a body, there's reason to believe that Sarah Stern was still alive.
That, in and of itself, is enough to create the reasonable doubt that acquits my client.
But prosecutors fought back and said Liam McIntasney was not an actor. He was a murderer.
This is not a movie. It's not a story. This defendant didn't frame himself for murder. He committed murder. The fact that her body wasn't recovered is not reasonable doubt. Sarah Stern is dead.
The case went to the jury, and very quickly they asked to see the video of Liam McIntasney confessing to Anthony Curry. Meanwhile, Liam's mother went on ABC's 2020 to defend her son.
In every bone of my body, I do not believe Liam is capable of killing Sarah Stern, who he loved and adored. I do not believe Liam is capable of killing anybody.
Liam's mother also addressed the fact that Sarah Stern has never been found.
This has seriously affected our entire family, and poor Mike Stern doesn't know where his daughter is. I mean, everybody is affected by this. This is a horrible, horrible, horrible situation.
Liam's mother may have thought her son was innocent, but ultimately, it would come down to what the jury thought. And with no body, and Sarah's mysterious behavior leading up to her abandoned car being found, it was anyone's guess. And then, after just one day of deliberations, the jury returned with a verdict.
How do you find as to count one of the indictment as to whether the defendant, Liam McIntasney, committed the crime of murder by purposely or knowingly causing the death of Sarah Stern, or purposely or knowingly causing serious bodily injury to Sarah Stern, which resulted in her death? Guilty.
They found Liam McIntasney guilty of 6 felonies, including first-degree murder. Liam McIntasney was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Journalist Alex Napoliello was in the courtroom.
I remember almost falling off my chair. Her 2 closest friends, one being her junior prom date, are charged with her death. I mean, I was speechless.
Liam McIntasney was also speechless. He didn't react to his conviction and continued to stare straight ahead, while Sarah's father lowered his head and breathed a huge sigh of relief.
I can't imagine what Michael has gone through over these years. I mean, from the moment his daughter was reported missing till Liam was convicted, that was years. And just my heart goes out to him that he had to suffer because of this.
At a press conference after the trial, Michael Stern unloaded on Sarah's former best friend.
Makes me sick, absolutely sick, that somebody would do something like that. And you heard the testimony that it was all a setup. He was never Sarah's friend, and apparently, his evil thoughts and his motives are just beyond anything, any realm of anything that I could imagine being so evil.
There were no reports that Liam and Sarah were at odds with each other, or that there was any strife between them. They were close, and they remained close up until the day she disappeared.
And he was grateful the case was blown open, thanks to 19-year-old Anthony Curry.
On behalf of our family, to the Curry family, I really appreciate what they did. It took a lot of courage for him to come forward. I know it was hard for him, but he knew he had to do it.
Anthony Curry was a game changer for this investigation. Without Anthony Curry, police don't have the investigation and the case that they had.
Anthony Curry graduated from aspiring movie producer to actual movie producer when his first film premiered in 2022. The movie was about the violent street kids he grew up with and was in the works years before Sarah Stern's murder. With Liam McIntasney and Preston Taylor in prison, the community tried to move forward, but it hasn't been easy.
It's a tragedy. What happened to Michael Stern and his family should happen to no one.
Edward Kirschenbaum worked with the Neptune City Police Department.
True justice would be have his daughter back. That would be true justice, but that'll never happen. Sarah's still not coming home, so that's a sad part of this whole scenario.
In 2013, Michael Stern lost his wife to cancer, and 3 years later, he lost his only child to murder by her friend, Liam McIntasney.
How do you wrap your mind around so-called friends, childhood friends, that they're the ones responsible for the murder of your daughter? I don't know if you ever wrap your head around that. Michael is a unique man. He carries this with him every single minute, hour, day, week, month, and year. It's just something that never goes away.
Despite countless searches, Sarah Stern's body has still never turned up. It's something that continues to keep her father up at night.
I don't sleep very well. I have nightmares, which is a horrible thing. Waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and thinking that Sarah's still alive and she's calling for me. I just can't get over that. It becomes harder as every day and month goes by and every year goes by. It doesn't get any easier. I can't, I just can't get over the loss of my beautiful daughter.
The only thing that comforts Michael is the scholarship fund he set up in Sarah's name at her high school and the college she attended.
So we want to keep Sarah's name out there as an artist. Now, my mission for Sarah is to promote the arts, fine arts, media for other students who wish to pursue that career. Seeing it blossom in Sarah, I'd like to see it blossom with other people that may be able to use the scholarship to, continue their careers. I love my daughter. I miss her, and I just hope she's at peace somewhere in heaven.
Preston Taylor, who was Sarah's date to the junior prom, was also charged in connection with Sarah's death. As part of his plea deal with investigators, Preston received 18 years in prison. He will be eligible for parole in 2032, when he is 35 years old. Meanwhile, Preston's roommate, Liam McAtasney, continues to maintain his innocence.
There's such a big part of this case that I feel like it's unsolved.
Journalist Tom Davis remains completely baffled by Liam's motive.
Why would anybody ever go through that effort and to kill somebody for what appeared to be about $7,000? And the fact that the person's not even a stranger, as a friend of theirs, or they're best friends, that they were like their own little clique. You would think that maybe something would have stopped them before he even got to the house, that maybe something inside him would have actually, some sort of moral compass would have just stopped this,
In cases like this, we always want more answers in the hope they'll help us understand why these things happen. But we'll never know.
We need to actually go back at this and actually find out what happened there. What drove them? Was there something that happened to them when they were smaller, when they were kids, when they were teenagers? I mean, we saw this happen with Timothy McVeigh when he bombed Oklahoma City. It was another thing where there was a history there where we didn't actually fully expect it to be what it was. When he eventually got to jail and he got to prison, he then eventually gave up what his motives were. We need that moment, to find out what happened,